Hi guys, subscribe Education Hub channel and press bell icon to see latest videos of science and technology. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel Education Hub. Did you subscribe our channel? If no, then please subscribe it and press the bell icon so that when the next video is uploaded, you will get its notification directly. Okay, so let's begin our second lecture from chapter Gravitation of Standard 10, Science and Technology. Yesterday in the first chapter we discussed about the phenomena of gravitation was discovered by Sir Newton. Then we have discussed about centripetal force and circular motion, and at the last we have discussed about Kepler's three laws of planetary motion, and these Kepler's law, all these three laws led Newton to formulate his theory of universal gravity. Now what was this theory of this gravity? Newton saw that apple is falling from the tree on the earth, and he concluded that he makes clear that the force of attraction exists between earth and the apple, or earth is attracting the apple with the force, but at the same time there exists attraction, means apple is also exerting same attraction pull on the earth. So there exists force of attraction between both of them, and accordingly that he concluded his universal law of gravitation. Now when there are two bodies, there exists force of attraction between them, and this force of attraction is dependent. This force of attraction is dependent. This depends upon force. This depends upon what? The dependent force depends on, number one, masses of the body. Masses of body, and number two, it also depends upon distance between them. It also depends upon what? Distance between them. But how? In which way? In which way this force depends? So he clear that this force is directly proportional to what? Product of their masses. Suppose m1 is the mass of the first body, m2 is the mass of second body, then force is directly proportional to what? m1 into m2, product of their masses, and this force is inversely proportional to what? Square of distance between them. If d is the distance between the two bodies, then f is inversely proportional to what? D square. And accordingly that he stated his law of gravitation, that is given here. Look at here. According to this theory, this is the law. Every object in the universe, attracts, look at here, every object in the universe attracts every other object with a definite force, and this force is directly proportional to product of the masses of the two objects, and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. You can make the short statement also. What is that short statement? I am repeating it once again. There exists force of attraction between any two objects, and this force is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to what? Square of distance between them. Okay. So if we combine this both of the statement, what will get? We'll get F proportional to m1 m2 upon d square. Therefore we get F is equal to G m1 m2 upon d square, where g is what? Constant of proportionality. It is also called what? Universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. Now why it is called universal gravitational constant? Because its value doesn't change whatever may be the nature of the object, distance between them, their size, it at all independent of that. That's why it is called as universal constant. Look at here, this force is proportional to product of masses. Obviously it is obvious that if the mass of the one body is increased, force will be increased. As for example, suppose mass of one body doubles, the force also between them also will be doubles. But if the distance is increased, then what will happen? Now force is inversely proportional to distance, square of the distance again. So if the distance is double, then the force will be decreased by 1/4, or force will be affected by the factor of 4. Okay, look at here, this is very important. And the force acting between them, these two bodies, look at here, this, if the force you are taking acting between two bodies, so this is the first body. The bodies are spherical with uniform density, then force acting between them is directing to the line joining their centers in this way. Line joining to their center towards each other like this. This force, and distance between them also we have to take distance between their what? Centers. If the bodies of what? Bodies are spherical with uniform density. But if the bodies are not spherical but uniform density, then the force is acting, means bodies of irregular shape, then the force is acting lining joining their centers of mass, and distance between also we have to take between their centers of mass. Okay, these centers of mass of the spherical body of uniform density is their geometric center only. But if the bodies are of uniform density but irregular shape, the centers of mass is at their center. Okay, now once again we go to the formula. What the formula we are having? F is equal to, look at here, F is equal to what? G m1 m2 upon d square. Now you know what is m1 m2. Now if we'll put, but what is G? What is the value of G? What is its unit? Now if we'll take m1 is equal to m2 is equal to 1, and D also will take 1, and we'll put this value in our equation. So what we'll get? Obviously we'll get F is equal to what? G into 1 into 1 upon 1 square. So we'll get F is equal to what? G. F is equal to G, that is the value of universal constant is G, is nothing but the force of attraction between two bodies of unit masses separated by what? Unit distance. Okay, if the two bodies of unit masses will take distance between them is 1 unit, then what is the force of attraction between their two bodies is nothing but value of G. What is the, but how much it will be? It has been calculated by Henry Cavendish about 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. 10 raised to minus 11, what is the unit here? That will discuss here. Once again we will write this formula in now G. If we write this formula in G, we will get what? G is equal to F into d square upon m1 into m2, and if this is, then F is in Newton, d square means distance meter square, and mass into mass means it what? Kilogram square. Unit we are writing, and so the value of unit of G is what? Newton meter square per kg square. So this is what? Newton meter square per kg square. What it will be in CGS unit? Just try to find it out. Try to find out at yourself. Okay, got it? Now we have to discuss further. Now we have seen that the value of F is calculated by what? Newton's universal law of gravitation, in which force is directly proportional to product of masses and inversely proportional to square of distance between. But how Newton came to know the relationship between distance and force? With mass we can agree, force is related with mass, but how with distance? So let's understood inverse square dependence on the distance in the law of gravitation. For that purpose we have to take our object is performing uniform circular motion. Suppose the object of mass m is performing uniform circular motion with velocity v and radius of the orbit is r. In that case, the force, centripetal force acting on the body or on the object is given by formula F is equal to mv square upon r. How this formula came to know? It is none of your business at this instant. Mv square upon r. This is okay. Same will apply. We'll take a planet. Look at, this is the planet we are taken in the figure. This is a planet is revolving around the sun. The radius of this orbit will suppose take r. Mass of the planet is what? M, and velocity of the planet is what? V. So the centripetal force acting on the planet by the sun is what? Given by the formula of what? mv square upon r. The same formula, mv square upon r. This is equation number 1. The force acting on the planet is what? mv square upon r. Now we'll calculate the velocity of the planet or the speed of the planet in terms of period of revolution. For that purpose we have to consider the distance covered of this planet in one complete like this revolution, and the distance complete in one complete revolution is equal to what? It will be what? Perimeter of the orbit. It will be what? Perimeter of orbit of revolution. Okay, is the perimeter of orbit revolution, and this will be obviously equal to what? 2 pi r. We have taken it exactly circular. Second one, and time taken to complete this, time it will be how much? Already we have discussed earlier, yesterday only. Time taken to complete one revolution is nothing but we call it what? Period of revolution. Period of revolution. Period of revolution, and this is denoted by what? Capital T. Yesterday we had discussed about it in the previous lecture. Okay, now we know that speed is equal to what? Speed is equal to what? Distance upon time, and therefore what we will get then? Therefore v is equal to distance covered in one revolution, what? Just we are written about 2 pi r, and upon time is what? Time period of this capital T. This is our equation 2. What is equation 1? That is above here. Look at here, mv square upon r, and this equation 2 is what? V is equal to 2 pi r upon T. Now we'll put the value of equation 1 in equation 2. Value of equation 1 in equation 2 will get, equation 2 in equation 1 will get. Therefore from 1 and 2, F is equal to m upon r into v square. The value of v is what? 2 pi r upon T bracket square. from 1 and 2, from 1 and 2, from 1 and 2. So what we'll get is equal to m upon r into 4 pi square r square upon t square. So we'll cut 1 r here. Okay, so what we'll get, as we'll cut 1 r here, we'll get is equal to 4 m pi square r upon t square. Okay, we'll solve it once again further. What we are doing here, we are multiplying here by r square and dividing by also r square, so that the value of equation will not change. So what we'll get, 4m pi square r upon t square into r square upon r square. Okay, now this is we are having that, and we'll simplify it. Four m pi square upon r square into this r, and this r will be r cube upon t square, r upon t square is equal to, now why we are written like this, you might be remembering this, by k plus third law of planetary motion. Remember what was given in the k plus third law of planetary motion? Look at it, was like this, t square upon r cube is equal to k, and therefore from here we can write down 4m pi square upon r square into 1 upon k by k plus log. K plus, okay, k plus third law. So what we'll get here means t square upon r cube is equal to k. So r cube upon t square is equal to obviously 1 upon k. Again k is constant. So look at here, what we'll get, 4m pi square upon k into 1 upon what, r square. Why I had written like this? Because now this 4 is constant. Look at here, this 4 is constant, m is constant, pi is constant, pi is also constant, square obviously will be constant, k is constant, k is also constant, and so this total, this entire factor, this entire term will be constant. So we can here write down what, constant into 1 upon what, r square. F is equal to constant into 1 upon r square, and thus we will get what, F is inversely proportional to what, 1 upon r square. And in this way Newton came to know about inverse square relationship of the force. Okay, this is, in this way Newton recognized that. Now you might be wondering, if there exists force of attraction between any two bodies, means between you and me, between two friends, then why do not get attracted towards each other? असं जर फोर्स ऑफ अट्रॅक्शन असतं तर आपण एकमेकाकडे का अट्रॅक्ट होत नाही, का खेचले जात नाही? काय कारण काय? आपण जाऊन एकमेकाकडे अट्रॅक्ट झालं पाहिजे ना, चिपकलं पाहिजे ना. नॉट हॅपन लाईक दिस. वाय? विल हॅव सम प्रॉब्लेम्स, विल सॉल्व दिस टू प्रॉब्लेम्स. These are our textbook only. Instead of this, you can take any two problems. Will do. In the first problem, they are asked, two children are given, or two persons are sitting nearby each other. Mahendra and Virat are sitting at a distance of 1 meter from each other. Okay. Their masses are 75 kg and 80 kg respectively. So what is the gravitational force between both of them? So what is given here? Given mass of the first person m1 is equal to what? 75 kg. m2 is equal to how much? 80 kg. Okay, distance between them is what? 1 meter. And now value of g is constant, you know that 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Now formula we know that F is equal to what? G m1 m2 upon what? D square. Sorry, D square is equal to 6.67 to 10 raised to minus 11 into 75 m1 ची किंमत into 80 divided by how much? Divided by 1 square, and we'll solve this. We'll get the value of F is what? 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton. And if we'll write this in a decimal point, then we'll get 0.000004002 Newton. How much this is for us? Negligible, 0. We are not considering this value. For our daily life, daily routine, this value is, we consider this is what? For us, for us, this force is approximately equal to 0 Newton. For us, this is not. But it is actually this much force. This is the force is present between both of them, very negligible force. You can make this problem more simpler. How you can make it more simpler? You can take mass of this person as 100 kg. Mass of this person also you can take as 100 kg. Okay, then we'll put here both 100. This is 100. This is also 100. And then 100 means 10 raised to 2. 10 raised to 2, so it will be 10 raised to 4. So it will get what? The same, what answer will get then? The answer will be what? 6.67 into 10 raised to what? Minus 7 Newton. It will, if you are taken mass of two bodies, what? Mass of two bodies 100 each. The force between them is this, negligible. Okay, then also force is there. It is not 0, it is there. Then the further second question they are asking us, in above example, assuming that the bench on which Mahendra is sitting is suppose frictionless. Okay, it is frictionless, and so starting with 0 velocity, what will be Mahendra's velocity of motion towards Virat after 1 second? Means we have to solve this problem for Mahendra. And then one question they are again asking further, that we'll discuss later on, but we'll discuss at this. Now what is given here? Force is this only, of this 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton. Okay, this is given to us. Mass of Mahendra we are having 75 kg. Mahendra is at rest, so his initial velocity is what? 0 meter per second, and we have to calculate his velocity after what? 1 second. Before that, before calculate Mahendra's velocity, we have to calculate Mahendra's acceleration towards Virat. To calculate his acceleration towards Virat, we'll use formula F is equal to what? Mass into acceleration. Therefore, acceleration of Mahendra is what? F upon m. And therefore A will be equal to what? How much F is there? 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7 upon his mass is what? 75, and this value is coming, will come this value will come 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter per second square. 10 to minus 9 meter per second. This is the acceleration of Mahendra. Okay, and now we can use Newton's first equation of motion, v is equal to u plus at, and we can calculate his velocity, u is equal to 0. Initially he is at rest, acceleration is 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9, and into time 1 means his velocity will be the same, 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter per second. Velocity of Mahendra, it is this much. 10 raised to minus 9 meter per second is very less, almost 0 for us, and obviously that's why Mahendra is this. Now they are asking another one question, will this velocity change with the time and how? Now look at here, we are just consider Mahendra. Mahendra is moving towards Virat. Obviously Virat also will move towards Mahendra, because on both the force is acting. So Virat is also moving towards the Mahendra. So distance between them is what? Decreasing. Distance between them is decrease. Force between them will what? Increase, because force is inversely proportional to what? Force is inversely proportional to the distance, square of the distance, and so force between them will be increase. Force is increase, then obviously this velocity will what? Increase with the time. This velocity will increase with time. This is very clear that. But suppose just now I am giving you one question. Suppose Mahendra has to move just 1 centimeter. Consider this only acceleration, this only force or acceleration of Mahendra. This only acceleration you can take, and Mahendra has to move just 1 centimeter towards Virat. How much time Mahendra will take to move 1 centimeter towards Virat? Calculate it and give me the answer. Okay, so we'll stop here with the second lecture. We'll meet in the third lecture with your once again something new, and so till that time we'll say bye bye. Take care, stay home, safe home. Okay, bye, see you in the next lecture.